What's up Club KTP, hari ini kita bakal ngobrol dengan co-founders dari Rahasia Gadis, Dika Himawan dan Adele Odelia Tanuri. Rahasia Gadis dimulai dengan komunitas perempuan muda yang berakar di empati, self-love, serta mengapresiasi keberagaman. Melalui platform mereka, Rahasia Gadis membuat konten-konten yang positif dan memberdayakan perempuan muda. Dengan lebih dari 1 juta likes di TikTok, 3 juta followers di Instagram, dan 2 juta views di YouTube, Rahasia Gadis tentu hanya akan menanjak di masa depan dan makin berdampak lagi untuk banyak cewek-cewek di Indonesia. Hari ini kita bakal ngobrol sama Adele dan Dika tentang quarter life crisis atau krisis hidup seperempat abad. Dan hal-hal apa sih yang bisa berkontribusi ke perasaan quarter life crisis? Jangan kemana-mana, kita bakal obrolin semuanya. Nah, Adele sama Dika, mungkin kita mau intro dulu ya buat orang-orang yang mungkin nggak tahu quarter life crisis itu apa. Kalau dari gue, research di Wikipedia, quarter life crisis atau krisis hidup seperempat abad itu merujuk pada keadaan emosional yang berciri-ciri seperti kekhawatiran, keraguan terhadap kemampuan diri, dan kebingungan menentukan arah hidup. Dan hal ini umumnya dialami oleh orang-orang beranjak dari umur 20-an hingga mungkin awal-awal lo umur 30 gitu ya. Krisis ini bisa dipicu oleh tekanan yang dihadapi baik dari diri sendiri atau lingkungan, atau mungkin lo belum ketemu tujuan hidup yang jelas sesuai dengan values yang lo yakini, serta banyak pilihan jadi lo bingung gitu untuk memilih. Nah kan kita ngobrol-ngobrol banyak topik dong yang bisa kita ngomongin dengan co-founders Rahasia Gadis, tapi kita settle dengan topik quarter life crisis. Nah, jadi kita mau mulai, kalau misalnya buat Adele dan Dika sendiri, pengalaman lo tentang quarter life crisis itu kayak gimana, dan apakah sekarang lo masih merasakan quarter life crisis, apa lo udah mulai move on dari quarter life crisis?
Hi, Josephine. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting us to KTP, the podcast.
Thank you for coming here. So excited to have you guys.
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, when we first had, a discussion about this before, and then akhirnya kita milih kayaknya quarter life crisis nih seru deh untuk kita bahas. Karena sejujurnya ya dari aku sendiri, I just turned 25 gitu in June. Terus Adele is turning 25
next year. Aku
next
masih
year.
kayak panjang-panjangin masih next year.
Terus sejujurnya kenapa kayak this fits so much, pertama dari personal sendiri ya. Tahun 25 ini adalah tahun yang paling banyak transitional changes within myself and my choices gitu. Aku berasa banget anxiety-nya, aku berasa banget kegelisahan yang sampai pada akhirnya aku banyak membuat keputusan yang sangat besar gitu di umur ini. Tapi selain itu juga, aku juga melihat bahwa setiap kali aku share tentang umur aku 25 sekarang, terus kayak kegelisahan aku ABC, banyak banget gadis di Rahasia Gadis itu merasa mereka juga di posisi yang sama gitu. Makanya kenapa kemarin waktu kita ngobrol sebelum podcast ini, langsung we really resonate with, okay, let's talk about quarter life crisis. Is it something real or is it in our heads?
Yeah, I think for me gitu kayak I don't think I've had like a quarter life crisis gitu dulu ya, tapi I had a mini quarter life crisis pas di university. And aku ingat banget pas I was about to graduate, I felt like everybody had their lives figured out. Kayak teman-teman gue udah tahu, gue mau kerja di sini, gue recruiting ke orang gila setiap hari, gue practice interviews gitu ya. And here I am kayak still figuring it out. Gue nggak tahu what I wanna do. I don't know what path. And then pas di kuliah itu, pas uni, I felt kayak there was this one track to success. Kayak everybody said kayak, kalau mau sukses, lu harus step 1, step 2, step 3. And I always felt kayak gue tuh gak bisa that path because I had my passion. I was very sure what my passion were. And gue nggak fit aja deh to the mold of society punya sukses. And that's why I started malah questioning myself. Gue nggak question society, the norms of society. Gue question myself kayak, maybe gue yang aneh ya mikir kayak gini. Gue mau explore dulu, gue mau see different industries. Gue mau do something that's not in the traditional sectors gitu. And I think those questions, on top of facing a lot of rejections with interviews and recruiting, really made you have so many self-doubt sih. Gue kayak start thinking kayak I'm not enough gitu, gue tambah insecure. Makanya sekarang gue di Rahasia Gadis kayak really feel for these girls gitu, because I've experienced those feelings. Tapi to be honest, sampai sekarang gitu, kayak that was 2 years ago, 2 years here now, masih lagi muncul-muncul kan those questions of like, what is my passion, what is the purpose, where am I going? a key thing to talk about juga is like this trap of comparison in the world of social media kan. Walaupun rahasia gadis di social media, kita juga fighting this this current of comparing
Standards.
yourself,
Yeah.
comparing yourself to others yang always showing their highlights on social media, and you feel like you have to compare your perfect life to their perfect life to your real life gitu sih.
Oke, tadi kan lo juga ngomongin tentang sosial media. Nah, apalagi secara pandemi ya sekarang di Jakarta, di Indonesia, pandemi tentu telah mengubah cara kebanyakan orang menjalani kehidupan rutin lo secara dramatis gitu loh. Dan buat lo sendiri, apa dampak pandemi ke rutinitas hidup lo dan kesehatan mental lo? Apalagi lo mungkin lihat temen-temen gitu yang kayak, kayaknya temen-temen kok kayak gini ya di sosial media, kok kayaknya temen-temen lagi kerjain kayak gini ya. Dan lo berdua sendiri kan sosok-sosok yang aktif gitu di sosmed. Gimana lo caranya bisa membalance, liatin sosial media menjadikan sesuatu platform yang positif daripada lo compare diri sendiri gitu sama orang lain.
That's always the question we keep on reminding ourselves.
Iya.
Karena sebenarnya kalau menurut aku kayak kita melihat social media is a double-edged sword kan pastinya. Di satu sisi kita bisa terkoneksi sama seluruh orang di dunia ini possible, yang tadinya kita nggak bisa collab sama orang Amerika gitu, jadi bisa collab sama orang Amerika gitu contohnya. Kalau misalnya kita tadinya nggak bisa ketemu teman kita yang dari jauh, dari Aceh gitu, kitanya di Jakarta, kita jadi bisa ketemu sama mereka. Jadi it certainly opens like borders like no others. Tapi at the same time yang kata Adele tadi bilang kan, di social media we want to look the best. We always want to look and there's nothing wrong with that ya kan sebenarnya, karena emang human nature orang mau look the best gitu kan in front of everyone. But there comes to a point where ada generasi yang memang dilahirkan cuman di social media. Dia lahir taunya social media gitu. Kalau kita kan lahir, kita waktu itu belum gitu.
ada wifi.
Belum ada wifi, terus pakai HP itu cuma untuk Tetris sama telepon.
Iya. Gue
Telepon
baru start
mama
Instagram
gitu.
aja tuh kelas 10 loh.
Iya. Jadi ada generasi sekarang yang memang dilahirkan di dunia sosial media, which means mereka nggak tahu bahwa apa yang di social media itu sebenarnya bukan kehidupan nyatanya suatu orang gitu. Jadi ada distortion of reality kan. What you see on social media, mereka assume that's how the person is, which creates a whole standard, a whole generation of distortion of standards of beauty or standards of wealth or standards of bla 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 gitu. Dengan generasi yang baru ini, jadinya itu yang double-edged sword tadi, it becomes really dangerous, especially untuk gadis-gadis berumur 13 sampai 24 tahun mungkin, yang secara hormonal atau secara personality atau secara kayak capability of maturity belum bisa handle that kind of pressure. Jadinya makanya we see especially during the pandemic, jadi tambah loneliness increase, anxiety, depression, and we can see that through our confession room ya.
Dan juga kayak tahun lalu beradar banget tuh, kayak in the sense there was news circulating how it says kayak anxiety and depression rates have been increasing amongst teenage girls gitu, because of social media. There was a study linking it to social media, dan aku pun kayak in a personal way, I struggled a lot with social media kayak senior, junior year, first year kayak of university, aku sampai kayak pernah detox social media kayak 6 bulan. I was so sure kayak social media was this like horrible force that enforces into my life, gara-gara I felt kayak harus live off other people's expectation, harus selalu kayak create a image of yourself yang gak benar. And so I actually went through a phase, aku kayak research gitu tentang kayak the negative aspects of social media gitu. Terus ada banyak loh, you try to go down that route, you will definitely find content about that route kan. They're like, social media is designed like how casinos are designed to be addictive gitu kan.
Which is not entirely wrong.
Which is not entirely wrong. Tapi then I think after a while aku mikir-mikir, social media is actually a neutral tool, tapi how do you approach it gitu kan. What's your mindset towards it juga. Dan menurut aku sih at that point aku juga cuma harus belajar self-control. So now like on my iPhone, as hard as it is, I have like a timekeeper lah at least, kayak 30 minutes only. All the time sih aku selalu ignore request.
Gue juga.
At least gue ada kayak indikasi lah, today I've been on social media for 1 hour or 2 hours. But yeah, I think it's just a tool that we have to utilize for good gitu.
Yeah. And I guess kayak to add to that with Rahasia Gadis, kenapa kita decide, kenapa harus ada platform nih yang sebenarnya spread social goodness through social media gitu. Karena ya the only way to beat that, kayak distortion of social standard and everything is to play it with their game gitu. Mesti masuk ke digital lagi gitu. Karena kan sekarang any message ditangkapnya lewat digital.
Yeah, content is so powerful these days.
So if we wanna be able to spread positive message and help these girls kayak feel not insecure or feel less pressured, then you have to go through their main channel, which is social media juga gitu.
Yeah, you can instill your values, what you want the world to be like through your social media platform kan. You can see social media movements aja these days can actually change countries, nations, governments kan.
Kemarin a meme page just raised $6 million to help the the whole Afghanistan evacuation. So that's like the power of community, like digital community.
Yeah. And semua orang juga sekarang pakai sosmed gitu kan. So like what you said, it can either be empowering or, it really depends on how you use them. Salah satu hal lagi tadi yang lo mention adalah ketika lo mau mencari passion lo itu, it feels like you didn't fit into a certain mold gitu kan. Dan kembali lagi ke topik kita yang quarter life crisis, walaupun tahun-tahun pas kita 20-an tentu itu paling fun gitu lah, paling menyenangkan, golden years, lo bisa ngapa-ngapain aja, lo dari kuliah abis itu lo kayak aduh cabut gitu kan. Usia 20-an itu kan biasa mewakili period dimana perubahannya itu biasa cepet dan intens, dan akhirnya lo mungkin merasa lebih dewasa dan lo bisa bikin banyak keputusan gitu ya. Tapi selama periode pembentukan ini mungkin lo juga merasa tekanan besar untuk berhasil, dan mungkin sukses untuk lo beda gitu sama standar orang lain. Kalau misalnya pengalaman lo sendiri, akhirnya gimana lo bisa decide bahwa okay, actually this is the path that I'm gonna go for, I'm gonna commit, atau mungkin lo masih in the process of finding that? Like, what was your experience?
Definitely still in the process.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a lifelong process ya.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna stop the process.
Yeah.
Kayak I don't think kita akan someday magically kayak at this age you're gonna magically realize, ini yang takdir aku, ini fate aku, ini yang harus aku jalanin. This is the right path. I think there's always gonna be doubts and there's always gonna be like changes gitu in life. And I think that's what you start realizing when you're 20s.
Yeah.
Makanya kita quarter life crisis. Karena kita realize ternyata you're going through life, dulu tuh kayak okay, gampang. Pokoknya high school, habis itu college gitu. That's your fate. That's your path gitu. Udah pasti bener gitu.
And everybody was on the same path kan.
Everybody was on the same path. Terus giliran lulus, and then you find your first job. Itu udah kayak pasti pathnya find a job gitu. And then when you're 25, you start to realize, is this really the job I want? Terus you ask yourself again, is this really the relationship I want? You start questioning and you realize ternyata it doesn't stop ya. When you're 25, you're still going to be going on transitional periods. Yeah.
Because I think the world is so dynamic and you're also very dynamic kan. We don't live in a static environment. That's why it's okay to always change and grow and adapt. Tapi untuk gue gitu kayak I remember like what really helped me go through that like mini quarter life crisis itu kayak speaking to my dad. Aku ingat banget. So I'm like a type A banget kan. Only in work though, and like life I'm like chill. Tapi kayak gue like I have to like dulu kayak plan life 5 years, 10 years gitu, yang kayak abis lulus gue mau kerja di mana 3 tahun, kayak I wanna know everything intinya. I wanna know where I'll be, I wanna know what I'll be doing, and I wanna know my plan. Pasti diketahui I'm like hyper organized gitu kan. Tapi then like I learned like you can't control things that's not in your control. Terus my dad pernah bilang ke aku kayak, Del, di hidup ini lu gak usah kayak plan a 5-year plan gitu. Lu harus kayak take one opportunity at a time and see where it takes you. Dia bilang the best opportunities I've had, I never imagined it happening to me gitu. And so I think you just to be faithful in the little, okay, what's in front of you, just work on it, and lu gak tahu where it'll lead you gitu. And if it doesn't lead you anywhere, at least it will shape you, the person you are. So that's like the mindset switch that I have sih yang bantu gue, kayak I don't have to have it figured all out, and I'm pretty sure I will never have it figured all out. Tapi whatever I have in front of me right now, it's like Rahasia Gadis and my work and my family and my friends, gue bakal kayak steward it and kayak take care of it aja, tapi gue gak tahu where it will eventually lead me and what path it will take me to. Gitu sih, kayak mindset switch I think helps a little bit, but I have to constantly remind myself of that lecture my dad gave me.
Gue juga ingat banget pas gue abis college, even right now ya, kayak temen-temen gue banyak yang udah nikah, terus kayak udah punya anak gitu, which is totally fine, but where I am right now, like I can't see myself. Kayak gue aja punya anjing ya susah gitu loh, apalagi mau punya anak. Dan memang it takes a lot, right? It takes a lot to accept that maybe tiap orang tuh pathnya beda gitu.
Iya. And I think what helps juga, my friend pernah bilang kayak everybody's on a different timeline now. Duluan kita ujian at the same time, due dates at the same time, masuk sekolah at the same time. Sekarang everybody just have different milestones, and I think it's about defining your own success aja. Jangan lu kayak lihat kiri kanan and trying to be someone else kan. Like what is success to you and stick by it.
I think what also contributes to kenapa banyak orang kayak anxious di umur kita gitu. Like it's also the culture lah. Kayak kita, maksudnya jujur aja kita tinggal di Indonesia yang secara society, secara culture masih lumayan konservatif ya. Dimana ya 25 itu ticking
Question
for
selalu
your
pasti kapan nikah dik, kapan nikah dik.
kapan punya anak, kayak bentar lagi udah nggak bisa punya anak gitu.
Kayak kalau misalnya udah di atas 25, udah lebih dekat ke 30, you can't say you're young anymore gitu ya. Kesannya tuh lo cuma aja kapan nikah, kapan punya anak, kayaknya your timeline is so flat gitu kan ya.
Kayak kalau di Indo tuh quarter life crisis starts at 20 guys, not 25.
20.
Yeah, I feel that I was 20 when I felt that.
Well, I think it's really cool though that yes, definitely gue bisa melihat gimana kalau misalnya di Indonesia konservatif, cuma you also see this wave of like young people, young women like changing, right, the definition of success atau mungkin definisi of how you want to live your life. Kalau misalnya buat kalian sendiri, sukses untuk kalian itu apa? Arti sukses untuk kalian?
For me, yeah, I think in this worldly sense, people are like, oh, success itu kayak if you get really rich, if you have a lot of material wealth, if you have status, if you have position, you have power, ya kan? That's what a lot of people try to achieve in their lifetime gitu. Gue mau ABCD. Tapi I've been thinking kayak there's so many wealthy kayak individuals in this life gitu. Banyak, tapi at the end of the day, when like you die, you know what? Sometimes when you talk about success, I sort of like think about death gitu. When you die, for me, it's like success is like what do people remember you as? Karena I would never want to be remembered as like, oh, someone who was really rich gitu. Rich in material wealth, yeah. I want to be remembered as someone who's really rich in love, in kindness, in like the person I am gitu. And I think this is like where I've been thinking a lot kayak in this world, sekarang pressure-nya is like to do stuff, to do work. Tapi sometimes aku remind myself kayak I'm a human being gitu, I'm a being gitu kan. So I sort of want to be remembered as who I am, who I was, you know. And aku keinget ini karena pas pandemi kayak a lot of close friends, kayak loved ones gitu kan, relatives passed away. And it makes you really think about that. Think kayak pas lu meninggal, people don't talk about your achievements and what you own in this world. They talk about how you relate to one another. Jadi untuk gue, sukses is like not how rich you are, but how giving you are gitu. Karena gue mikir kayak pas lu udah meninggal, what you can only have in this world that you leave behind is like how you impact people's lives kan. And so even when you die, you're still alive in people's lives. Jadi gue mikir in how generous you are, dan juga how you have meaningful relationships gitu. And I think that translates to Rahasia Gadis because we're all about relationships kan. We're all about how can we empower you to be in relationship with one another in a loving way to make this world a kinder place gitu. Dan itu sih kayak I know super kayak ambigu a little bit and like abstract, tapi I think it's because success is kind of abstract and it's individualized, nggak bisa kayak material, even though it's quite easy. I think people wanna have material success kan, it's easy to track gitu, you can count it, you can hold it, it's tangible. Tapi maybe the best success in this world is intangible gitu, that cannot be seen. Saya tuh gue sih from my perspective.
Yeah, whatever she
Dika
said. No,
Agi.
yeah. Kalau gue mau bilang wealth gimana?
Oh iya, boleh banget individual.
Gue sih maunya tajir.
Iya.
Gue sih maunya tajir.
Untuk beli BTS concert atau ketemu BTS gimana sih? Oh my god, lucu banget. So we had like a diary dulu pas kecil, we were 5 or 6, right? And then kayak if I have $1 million, inget gak?
Yeah. So basically, me and Adele have been friends
Oh
since
my God.
since we were born, basically. Terus abis itu dulu tuh when we were I don't know 9, 10, I don't know maybe. Kita dulu tahu nggak sih ada kayak buku terus bisa diisi-isi kayak your friends.
Biodata.
You kasih
Iya,
friends
iya,
buku.
iya.
dan-
Isi biodata.
Buat
Iya,
tanda
iya,
tangan gitu kan ya.
Betul. So I gave it, to Adele, and then she's like so selfless, Adele's like this really kayak she brings the impact in Rahasia Gadis, I'm handling sales.
And we can stay alive because of Dika, so we're such great partners.
She would write kayak the question was if I had $1 million gitu, what would you do with it? And then Adele would literally be like give my parents gitu, donate
Oh my
to charity. Terus, and then I literally took a picture of it. I just found out, and then it was my turn, right? If I had $1 million, what would you do? Go shopping. No, for me, success is also freedom. Jadi kayak if I have the freedom to do what I want to do in life gitu, and be able to realize it. Jadi kayak I feel like freedom internally, kayak kalau misalnya aku bisa break free from my kayak anxiety, my thoughts, my kayak I'm not gonna be able to do this apa segala macam. If I'm able to overcome my own anxiety, that's already like really success for me. Because I have really bad anxiety, right, in general. Jadi for me, it's kayak if I'm able to break free from kayak my own thoughts, that's success for me gitu. And then I can translate it to Rahasia Gadis, just adding it in.
No, I love the word freedom because it's always like it's two dimensions gitu. Freedom from, I want freedom from anxiety,
Yeah.
tapi also freedom to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I think that's like something that we do in Rahasia Gadis. We want them to be free from whatever insecurities they're feeling, supaya kenapa freedom to become the person they're meant to be kan.
Yeah, she translates it very well to impact you.
We love
Yeah,
that.
tapi
We
it's so
love
beautiful. I love
I
the
was
word.
just
I love the
thinking
word
selfish.
freedom. I love the word freedom because like freedom from kayak iya sih, you're like freeing yourself from something towards something else gitu.
Mantap,
You can see the
mantap.
good balance.
Itu dalam banget ya. Bisa ke brainyquotes.com itu ada dari Adele Tanuri
Harus
gitu.
dong please
Iya,
ya,
iya,
ikut.
iya,
Tapi
iya.
Dika, Adele sama Dika tuh kita teamwork. We're always building from each other. I love Dika, dude. We were the best.
She makes the quotes, I run the ads.
Not all. She's usually communicating all the programs.
I'm dead. And actually, ngomong-ngomong tentang anxieties, emang we grew up in a time where social media isn't really a thing yet. Jadi kita mungkin lebih ada advantage kayak sign out anytime we want, pilih-pilih waktu. Mungkin lebih ada lebih connected to life outside of social media kali ya. What have you found like has been helpful to you untuk kalau misalnya lagi anxious, ngerasa kayak stres banget, selain kayak sign off social media, ada yang lain lagi nggak yang that you do untuk curb the anxieties?
Journaling.
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to say this because my journal is already 3 pages right now, and it's literally January 2021. Terus skip ke April 2021, and then suddenly it's June.
At least you're still journaling. That's a good sign.
Journaling, it actually helps me.
Yeah.
I think kayak being around people.
That's so me juga.
Yeah, you have to have real conversations
Iya,
and
benar
real
banget.
relationship and real connections with people.
Yeah.
Kalau enggak, wah, lost in
Iya.
DM sih.
Iya, benar.
Yeah, real relationship with people.
And like relationships with people yang kualitasnya bagus juga
Iya.
kali ya. Karena menurut gue kadang kalau misalkan I also don't like to be on my own too much. Cuman sometimes I feel like kalau gue nyari-nyari I don't really wanna be on my own, terus gue cuma nyari biar ada temen doang gitu. Sometimes gue jadi milih temen yang ada aja gitu kan, biar gue nggak sendirian. And that actually doesn't help me. It's just me exhausting myself being around people. But kalau gue obviously ketemu temen yang emang berkualitas, terus jadi kayak bisa ngobrol yang lebih deep, lebih ngobrol yang berbobot lah ya, I actually can feel better after that.
Setuju banget sih. Gue juga ingat sih, actually, like, you know, I had multiple quarter life crisis, dan salah satu pemicu quarter life crisis itu kan kalau misalnya lu merasa kayak terputus gitu ya dalam hubungan intrapersonal lu gitu sama orang lain. Dan gue juga, karena gue orangnya outgoing, gue cuma, ya udah gue selalu ada plan gitu sama orang. Cuma like, after I go home, I kind of
Same.
feel lonely, even after. Like,
Empty ya sih?
gitu loh. Karena mungkin gue cuma fill in my time sama orang-orang yang maybe like, they don't really care about me, gue juga nggak gitu peduli banget sama mereka. Dan kalau misalnya dari pengalaman kalian sendiri dan mungkin dari confession room gitu lah ya, dari gadis-gadis yang kalian udah pernah ngomong, ada gak advice atau hal-hal yang you have noticed gitu will improve your personal relationship sama orang lain, atau mungkin membuat relationship lo lebih bermakna sama orang lain? Senyum-senyum mulu gitu ya sebelum
Iya, kita yang kayak,
ngejawab.
aduh, karena questionsnya is like as if kita experts, tapi disclaimernya kita semuanya still struggling and still like trying to figure out our way. That's why after every question we look at each other and we're like, okay, we'll stare from my personal
created
stories.
a new
Yeah.
group without me, okay? That's how bad I am.
I just got scolded by my friend last week saying that I've disappeared and I've hurt her. So let me learn from that. So let me tell you about my take on friendship.
Tell us
Yeah.
more.
Gak apa-apa
Tell us
dong,
more.
ini kan kita ngobrol, kita diskusi, kita kayak curhat
Iya,
gitu ya.
kita curhat,
Iya,
ini
kita
confession room,
curhat.
kita harus
Ini,
confess our sins sih.
Yeah, we have to confess
iya,
our
lo gak
sins.
usah expert, gue juga sampai sekarang gue
Iya.
masih crisis.
Ini gantian
gitu.
kalian bisa jadi confessing
I only
di
have
sini.
time for my boyfriend, my dog, and Dika. Nggak lah. I think for me kayak have quality friendships ya. I think it starts with you in the sense you have to be able to open up. I think that's the one thing I couldn't do. Dulu pas aku baru pindah ke Amerika gitu, pas I was in Berkeley, I felt that question kayak kenapa ya gue gak connect sama nih orang, I can't connect with a lot of people gitu. And then I started realizing itu gara-gara I didn't allow myself to open up about who I am, about my hurt, about my stories gitu to the person. So the person never knew me gitu kan. So I think yeah, meaningful relationship starts when you actually start sharing about yourself and you're vulnerable with one another. Tapi untuk maintain a relationship, I think it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of investment in kayak being there for them always, giving them encouragement gitu. And that's where I fall a little bit sih, gara-gara emang kayak zaman sekarang mungkin because you're so focused on work kan, you start prioritizing work over your friendships, over your relationships, and you always justify it because kayak oh gara-gara gue mau ini gitu. Tapi at the end of the day, I always kayak try to go back to my success metric yang kayak if I say a life of success is like a life full of meaningful relationships, seharusnya gue prioritize-nya my friendships gitu ya.
Right.
Tapi it's that sih, I think it takes a lot of vulnerability, opening up yourself, and also giving your time and your kayak encouragement to your friend. As simple as that sounds, in this like super fast-paced world, to just sit with a friend for on a whole like Monday night or Saturday night, it actually takes a lot from you
Yeah.
kan. Tapi having that like giving that like sacrifice lah, yeah, is something that I'm still trying to improve on.
Progress, not perfection.
I think this is
Dude, I had like a sticker that's gone now from my sticker. It was like grace, not perfection, because I was like, I'm gonna give grace to myself and grace to other people. To myself mostly sih.
We love that, we love that. Kalau Dika?
I just want to share kayak there comes a point jadi after I graduated I'm still a very social person, but in college and high school I'm a very 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 social person. I would have like 100 friends kayak just
Yeah. Dika
kayak
knows
I would-
everybody.
No,
He doesn't
not
know
in
Dika.
that sense. Tapi maksudnya kayak I used to be a very social person. I can't eat alone gitu. I just have to be like around people all the time. And then after college, I think I started working real life, and then my anxiety started getting really bad, and I had a panic attack for like a year, and my panic disorder, and every time I would go outside to meet my friends, I would have a panic attack. So what I did was aku kurung diri sendiri gitu di rumah for 1 year. I vacuumed basically, didn't meet anyone. Yeah, just had my like family and kayak my boyfriend back then. And then afterwards, what got me out of it was actually working at a place where I really love, kayak passion, Rahasia Gadis, kayak Bali United. Terus tiba-tiba panic attack-nya gone gitu. But then afterward aku udah kebiasaan sendiri. Aku udah kebiasaan. I wake up, I go to work, I go home every day. Jadi I actually vacuum for more than 1 year gitu, kayak 2 years, 3 years. I jarang banget ketemu friends, and then suddenly udah COVID gitu. Suddenly udah pandemi. Tiba-tiba ya udah kayak I just don't go out anymore. I just don't meet my friends. I don't catch up with them. Sampai mereka bikin grup terpisah because they're tired of always asking me whether I'm able to go to their gathering.
Yeah.
Baru I realized when I turn 25, hey, quarter life crisis again. Turning 25, I realized sebenarnya yang kata Adele gitu, kedepannya apa sih yang aku mau prioritasin gitu? What do I value most? And that was around the time where my aunt passed away and I was really close to her. You know, same thing with Adele, kayak when someone dies, you start to realize, especially when they're close to you, kayak who do you want to be remembered as gitu. And I went to her funeral, terus abis itu ngeliat banyak banget teman-temannya datang, semuanya nangis, sampai aku aja yang biasanya nggak nangis, aku nangis kayak for 5 days straight, maybe 1 week afterwards, I keep on crying. And I realized, wow, ini orang really give an impact gitu, my aunt really gives an impact to a lot of people ya gitu. Sebenarnya aku kan juga prioritasnya my relationship, masa nanti aku knock on wood, ya maksudnya later lah in my funeral gitu, yang datang cuma I hope you come, you know. Adele gitu. Adele just because she's always at work gitu, so I should come. Gitu.
Ya enggak lah, gila.
But yeah, then I start to realize kayak, hey, there's something wrong there. I think with the priorities that I give to my life gitu. All I do is scroll on social media, go to work, that's it. Where are my real relationships gitu? You have to find what you want to value in life, and that kind of hit me at 25 years old gitu. Do I value the relationship I'm in? Does it give me value? Jadi mesti two ways loh. Do I value it and does it give me value gitu. So I start to prioritize and I start to be active in the WhatsApp group.
Akhirnya dibales gitu ya dari 1 tahun
Finally
yang lalu.
re-invite Himan, rejoin group.
Rejoin group, and you know I start hanging out with them again, and pokoknya I prioritize weekends are weekends. Kayak I have to meet my friends on weekends, you know. It doesn't have to be every weekend. Cuman at least kayak jangan be a hermit crab gitu. Yeah, and now I feel so much better actually. Kayak more wholesome.
Tadi kan lo juga udah ngomongin mencari prioritas gitu, mencari values lo. What have you found to be like your values? Apa yang lebih penting buat lo daripada uang gitu? Kalau misalnya buat kalian apa?
First would be family. And then my relationships, so interpersonal relationships, you know, like my friends, my boyfriend, kayak my work friends. And then probably the work that I do, I value that so much, kayak the impact that I do. Kayak I wouldn't trade $1 million for Rahasia Gadis.
Yeah.
Maybe $1 billion.
Because we're worth more, our valuation udah kayak more than that ya, Dik.
But the impact, the work that I do, I think kayak shouldn't be traded. It should be making money. A lot of money, but we're not gonna hand it over, you know.
Yeah, I think interesting see the question about values kan, because I think whether you identify it or not, you actually have values gitu, and I think it takes a lot of time to like codify it. My first one is of course my religion, my faith gitu, because I think that drives everything gitu, and that's like the foundation of a lot of things.
Where didn't I think about religion?
It's been a long time, like my faith gitu. Like how you see the world is like definitely affected by that. There's the other like bracelet I have aside from a cross. It's like a bracelet my mom gave me kayak 2011. Udah lama banget. I never like let go of it. So it's been like my longest relationship I think with my bracelet. And it's a heart. And I think it represents like love. It represents relationships. It represents my family, my friendships. But it also represents kayak passion sih. Kayak in everything that you do, you have to do it with love kan. And like my mom has like really drilled that to me, because when people ask her, why do you start YCAP, right? They bilang, oh, because God loved me, and then so I love the world. So I'm like, I'm just gonna steal her answer. Kayak that eternal love that transcends to kayak humanity. And then the third one, which like broke away, which actually Dika has because someone just gave it to her, is like leaves gitu kan, which actually represents growth. So we actually complement one another. And so I think a value for me is like wherever you are in your life gitu kan, lu bisa kerja di mana aja gitu. Maybe you hate your job, maybe you love your job. You can always grow there gitu. You can always learn. And I think at school, learning is like take notes when a teacher like lectures. Tapi kayak for me, kayak I learned so much from Dika every single day, from her leadership. I learned Dika, I learned a lot from like my environment, and so kayak I just want to grow sih as an individual, and then that's what we wanna do in Rahasia Gadis juga kan. We wanna see like all these girls yang dulu kayak very timid and very small, and now we see them as leaders suddenly kan, as very strong, bold, independent girls. And that's what we want to see, kayak growth in them gitu. And that's what I love. That's why I tell people kayak, I know people hate, kayak people say kayak leadership is like very kayak X lah. Tapi for me it's like leadership is actually very motherly gitu. Because you like see someone grow, kayak in your team ya, they kayak very shy, very kayak not confident, and then you just like, I don't know, kayak you're with them every single day and you see them blossom gitu. And so that's my 3C.
Simbolis banget ya. I love that actually, karena ya maksudnya gue udah beberapa tahun kerja juga ya, dan salah satu hal yang gue takut tuh kalau misalnya if I stop growing in my life, karena lo mau di posisi apapun di hidup lo selalu ada kesempatan untuk menjadi orang yang lebih baik at your job, outside your job. There are so many things that you can do to grow. Dan kedengarannya kalian juga, you know, mungkin dulu plannya ada kayak gini, dan akhirnya it really brings you to like where you are right now. You know, life just doesn't go to plan sometimes. Dan gue juga dulu pas muda, gue kira gue bakal nikah pas umur 24-25, and here I am, I'm 26, you know, like I'm not married. Dan buat kalian sendiri, ada nggak hal-hal atau momen-momen yang membuat lo nyadar bahwa it's fine that life doesn't always go according to
Maybe it's that moment that I shared, like with my dad, yang it was just a call for more than anything flexibility gitu. During challenging times, you just have to be flexible as a person. Dan I think that's what I carry with me sih. Dan juga I think talking to friends, you know, kayak hearing Dika's stories, hearing my friends' stories, yang kayak, oh gue gak sendirian loh dalam kayak my crisis. Because when you feel alone, then you feel jaded kan. Tapi when you realize every single person in their 20s is feeling what I'm feeling, is thinking what I'm thinking, I'm perfectly fine with it gitu. Yang kayak yaudah kita bantu each other gitu, figure it out ourselves. And I think those honest conversations with my friends gitu kan, those really kayak breakdowns juga really helps me see. So there's like strength and vulnerability aja.
Love that.
And I think kayak aku juga selalu diajarin there's jodoh in life. Kayak hidup tuh ada jodohnya, which doesn't mean kayak lu nggak punya choice untuk do what you wanna do. Cuman lu ngelewatin itu ada jodohnya untuk nanti put you in a place somewhere else gitu. Once you realize you put your mindset bahwa seluruh experience yang you go through itu pasti ada hikmahnya, atau pasti you were supposed to go through that anyways. You let go of like any regrets gitu.
And then you sort of can see like a greater design and pattern when you look back. Kayak when you're at it gitu, at this moment in life, lu gak ngerti kayak kenapa I'm here. Tapi when you have the wisdom of time ya, lu bisa kayak look back what I've been through, you see how it shaped you, maybe shaped your passions, at least knows what you don't like gitu kan. And among where you are right now is where you're meant to be. Jadi stop looking forward again gitu. Kayak lu udah di sini for a reason, lu take care of whatever is in front of you aja. Karena if I look back, kayak what my plan was, abis lulus gue mau kerja di US for 2 years. So that was 2019, I graduated 2019. I want to be in US 2 years. I want to work in like a prestigious company just because of the name gitu kan, because that's what everyone else was doing. Tapi life just like went in a different direction gitu, in a sense yang kayak all the jobs I thought I wanted, I couldn't have, I didn't get it gitu. Terus aku dapat kayak opportunity-nya kayak I got an opportunity in Wikimedia Foundation, which is like Wikipedia kan, and education tech, and I'm like, do I really want it? Karena kayak it's not a full-time job, it was like a fellowship. I'm like, what kind of person takes a fellowship after graduation? But I took it anyways. And then from there it led me to a full-time job because my manager liked me, you know. Tapi after that, even though I had a full-time job in US, I still decided to go back home gitu. I don't know why, ada kayak feeling and conviction aja ya. Calling gitu to go back home. And then emang pas aja, kayak people thought I went home gara-gara pandemi. I'm like, dude, I couldn't foresee a global pandemic in 2019 gitu kan. I left December 2019, it happened January 2020. And then I realized, gila, if I was in US in the 2 years I wanted to be, I would have missed out in like Light Up Indonesia, which is another campaign. I would have missed out in YCAP, in kayak us taking Rahasia Gadis seriously. So many opportunities that I didn't even foresee. Jadi whenever aku kayak ragu lagi kayak, aduh, like life and Rahasia Gadis is not going according to plan, I just say to myself, it worked out in the past and I'm so short-sighted gitu. I only see what I think is best. I'm sure kayak there's a greater and bigger and grander plan that emang kita harus struggle together. Kita harus go through these detours that might not even be detours in the long term ya. Jadi aku cuman kayak remind myself from my past experiences sih. It worked out before and I had zero control. It worked out again and I had zero control gitu sih. And that's where faith comes in sih at the end of the day.
Kepo Friends, belajar banyak gak dari episode ini? Jangan sampai ketinggalan sama update dari kita dan follow kita di @ktpdpodcast, di mana lo semua juga bisa ninggalin komen dan kesan lo tentang podcast ini. Oke deh, jangan kemana-mana, karena kita masih lanjut ngobrol sama Dika dan Adele. Oke, so far, if you have to advise gadis-gadis lain dan cewek-cewek lain, dan it doesn't have to be perfect, gimana caranya agar kita bisa hidup di saat ini, like live in the moment dan bergerak maju apapun situasinya.
For me, it's like put down your phones when you're with your friends, as simple as that gitu. Karena aku ingat banget pas zaman aku kayak off social media, the one thing that helped me with was actually being in the present. Aku ingat banget aku start noticing things like, oh wow, like the air is fresher. Ini nol bay loh, kayak oh in the past I was always looking down when I was walking kan, tapi lama-lama gue cuma kayak looking around. You know the scene di Soul, the Pixar animation?
Yes.
That moment when she was like looking at the leaves and she found beauty in it, kayak when I was like off my phone, I felt like, oh my goodness, like I saw everyone around me was like down on their phone kayak zombies, and I'm just like seeing the wonders of the everyday little things gitu. And for me, it's that sih, kayak you haven't watched that movie, watch it. Tapi as simple as like don't be on your phone too much, you can be aware of the beauty in the everyday. Apalagi di LA sekarang ya, kayak I'm like never taking anything for granted. Like the fact I can walk after dinner is like a huge thing for me gitu. The fact I can watch movies and so on. So that's one sih, living in the moment is like being disciplined aja in what you consume in your content.
Dika gimana?
Okay, I was gonna say be prepared for transitional periods. I think that's really important. Okay, when you're in your 20s, you just have to be comfortable bahwa akan ada banyak periode transisi di hidup kita gitu. Dan gak cuma stop di umur 20 ya. I mean, as you said, kayak pasti 30, 40 juga pasti akan banyak banget transition period yang cuman bisa kamu kontrol ada diri kamu sendiri. Makanya yang what you value in itu penting banget, karena through all the changes in life you can always stick to your values gitu. And if you don't, it's okay. Then you change your value, you prioritize on that value.
And I think to stick to your values, you sort of have to know it first. And I think that's why kayak the one thing I would like tell people in their like 20s or even their teenage years, kayak really invest time in getting to know yourself. Kayak lu invest time to get to know kayak pacar lu, temen lu, tapi really get to know yourself. Kayak ask your questions, kayak what are my values, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses gitu. Yang bantu gue banget pas gue kayak in this mindset kayak I don't fit in any mold, like this simple realization like I'm not meant to fit in that mold gitu, gara-gara I have my own shape gitu. And gue baca buku bagus banget, kayak shape-nya akronimnya bagus banget dik. S was for spiritual abilities, H was for heart, A was for abilities or strengths, P was for personality, and E was for experiences. Dia bilang all these things shape you to become the person you are, dik.
Gila,
And so ya udah, kalau gitu gue yang kayak okay, I have my own shape, I'm like this shape, and Dika has her own shape. Tapi we like complement each other, we balance each other. And hopefully kayak ya udahlah, kayak jalan hidup sendiri-sendiri aja gitu, jangan terlalu dipaksa anything, you know.
Oh, and jangan compare each other.
Yeah. One more thing actually, yang for girls, I think to ini ya, jangan terlalu jaim. I think it's so important. People don't really care about you, dude.
I love that. It was the most liberating thing, honestly. It was the most liberating thing in this world.
People don't give a fuck about you. Kayak sebenarnya kayak mereka nggak yang satu hari
kayak mikirin lu terus.
Kayak orangnya kayak mikirin uang terus gitu.
Ada yang pernah ngomong itu sih, Dik. Semuanya mikirnya kayak aduh Dika, so hardworking, so inspiring.
So when you like break free from that, you can actually do the things that you want to do. Kalau lu udah nggak happy sama your boyfriend, ya udah gitu. Jangan mikirin kayak oh udah 5 tahun kayak you know
what's everyone else gonna think. Tapi itu susah kan, menurut gue itu something that you usually are taught by your parents usually dari kecil nggak sih? How did you unlearn that? Apalagi di Indo yang kayak culture shame-nya tuh kuat banget kan. It's just our culture, it's no one's fault. But how did you unlearn that?
I mean, I think jaim and perilaku or way of your behavior is two different things. Jaim goes more with your feelings. Jaim itu what you believe in, lu takut untuk suarain gitu. Nggak jaim means lu punya feeling, lu punya belief, lu nggak takut untuk nyuarain. When you show your feelings and you speak out your mind and you have the freedom to do so, that's when you break out of it.
Dan pasti liberating juga sih, the freedom to like make your own decision kan. Oke deh, kan kita udah ngomongin quarter life crisis, pengalaman kita udah curhat-curhat. I wanna close our conversation, balik ke kita bisa ngomongin rahasia gadis ya sekarang. Buat kalian, apakah mendirikan rahasia gadis ada membantu kalian untuk mengerti lebih banyak tentang diri sendiri?
All the time ya Dik. I think kayak what we love so much about Rahasia Gadis tuh kayak benar-benar we see little parts of ourselves in the girls that we have in our community gitu, dimana mereka open up their hearts and kita bisa benar-benar kayak relate to them, but also it reminds us who we used to be or who we are still now gitu kan. Because when we say Beb kayak overcome your insecurities, it's not because we've overcome it, but because we still have it and we're going through the process together gitu. Dan banyak hal lah yang kayak menurut aku walaupun we're so different ya, kayak mereka bisa tinggal di Aceh, di NTT, di Lombok, tapi what we have all together is those like internal thoughts that are drowning us, atau enggak those family expectations. Jadi one for sure it's like it forces you to look into yourselves ya, especially how you talk to them is how you should talk to yourself kan. Whenever we reply them, seharusnya we say that to ourselves gitu. So it helps with that sih, with like more positive self-talk. Dan ultimately kan Rahasia Gadis kayak if you break it down in 3 sentences, what we do is like we help girls know their worth, know their rights, and know their power kan. And I think kayak for me and Dika itu personal banget because there are times yang kita benar-benar udah lupa harga diri. There were times where we were treated a certain way by a certain guy or by friends because we don't know our own worth gitu. And that's why we're here championing, like you have to know your worth because we've been there gitu kan. You have to know your rights karena kita pernah kayak bukan nggak tahu hak tapi mungkin kayak nggak tahu hak what we have, we have the rights to ya. And so now girls are asking us kayak, Kak, boleh gak sih kayak pacar aku mau megang aku tapi aku gak mau? And I'm like, girl, it's your body gitu kan. And we're like fighting for her gitu. And knowing your power is like, there are times, and still countless of times, we feel like we're faking it so we make it gitu. Yang kayak we don't know what it takes to be a good leader gitu. And we are still so kayak constrained lah with our abilities. Kita kan masih kayak quote-unquote fresh grads yang kayak kita didn't go through like training in like a huge big company. We like went into this like world learning as we're going gitu kan. Learning this entrepreneurial journey literally as we're failing and we're like stumbling juga.
Excel sheet.
Iya, like gimana ini formulanya. Tapi iya itu sih kayak those 3 things that we're fighting for is what we want for ourselves juga sih. We better know our worth and our rights and our power gitu. So that's why we love our work so much because it's so kayak us gitu. It's like we see ourselves in them and they see themselves in us gitu.
Pertanyaan terakhir ada 2 nih. Apa harapan lo buat diri lo sendiri personally dan apa harapan lo untuk Rahasia Gadis ke depannya?
Honestly, kalau untuk diri aku sendiri sih, to remind myself always kayak my values itu apa, my power itu apa, my worth itu apa. I'm just copying her. She just changed our vision mission soalnya.
Enggak.
No, our worth, our power, our rights, itu mesti banget diterapin ke diri aku sendiri. Itu I really really hope I can overcome that. Karena sejujurnya we say this, that, you know, and we do it in our work, tapi in our personal relationship kadang kita bias gitu, kadang kita kasih excuses for ourselves, and I really hope that there is a synergy dari what I want me to be and who I am right now, and I'm still going to work towards that. That's my hope for myself. My hope for Rahasia Gadis, there's still so much lack of education about sexual education, girls' rights, mental health, even what they think beauty is. My hope is that Rahasia Gadis can be the leader or pioneer to teach girls their worth, their power, and their rights.
It works, right?
It works.
Kalau aku, I think like my hope for myself, in like a personal way, is just like to really determine and live out the things that matter. I think there's so much noise in this world kan, and I get so distracted by everything. Tapi kayak really kayak discipline myself aja, kayak this is what matters and you work towards it gitu. And for me it's like at the end of the day it's like meaningful relationships, so maintaining friendships and relationships and family, tapi juga maintaining meaningful work. I hope there's never a time where work becomes a burden kan. Don't ever bikin kayak gara-gara lu kayak fighting for your passion without any self-care, self-trust, self-love, lu jadi kayak lama-lama burn out atau kayak lama-lama malah start antagonizing your passion, right? So I think being very like disciplined with that is my hope for myself. Karena gue tuh tipe yang kayak sometimes I'm really really focused and sometimes I'm like more lax. Tapi it's because I'm always struggling between kayak burning out and not gitu. And like being more consistent and taking care of myself as we're like pushing this forward kan Dik. Is something that I really hope for myself sih. Tapi for Rahasia Gadis mungkin kayak as simple as like we have 3.3 million followers, but my hope is like we will like reach more girls that haven't even heard about us, not for the sake of hearing about Rahasia Gadis, tapi kayak Dika supaya they are instilled with the values, right, that we believe are important for girls in Indonesia. Dan mudah-mudahan kayak from Rahasia Gadis mereka bisa jadi kayak leaders ya Dik ya, because Rahasia Gadis bukan sekedar cuman kayak curhat room atau confession room. We're here if you're in our community, we will equip you and empower you to become leaders in your own community. Kayak kita nggak mikirin lu harus leader. People always equate leaders with like CEO of a startup these days, I don't know why. Tapi kayak leader in your family, leader in your relationships,
Leader of yourself
juga gitu. Dan itu sih impian kita beneran the leading force of giving birth to like millions of girl leaders di Indonesia. And hopefully when you interview us again, we are slowly approaching that goal. Kalau mau ya maybe mereka udah kapok sama kita, dude. Nggak mau interview lagi, udah capek.
This is so fun.
Well, thank you guys. That wraps up our interview.
Thank you for having us, Dina and Josephine.
Thank you KTP, Kepo Tapi Peduli.
Love the name.
Kalau kamu mau melihat lebih banyak konten positif di feed kamu, jangan lupa follow @rahasiagadis dan tunjukin support kamu ke komunitas wanita Indonesia yang strong, confident, dan most importantly, mempraktis self-love. Don't miss our next episode in 2 weeks dan follow kita di @ktpthepodcast. Much love from your host, Josephine and Dina.